Good morning. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to today's Legacy Lab. I'm glad you're here. Now, before we get started, can y'all hear me and see me? Drop me a dollar sign emoji in the chat. I have to make sure that you can hear me and see me. Can hear me and see me. Okay, good. Thank you so very much. Now, while you're here, I'm going to ask you to let me know how you're feeling as well. Drop a question mark emoji if you know you've been meaning to get your money and estate handled. Now, if you already fired up, you can go ahead and drop me a fire emoji because what? You say you're fired up and you're done delaying and you're ready for some structure. Let me see anything dropped in the chat. All right. I see you guys. Again, thank you. Thank you. I see the fire emoji. All right. Now, we're going to get started, but let's see. What's our theme for today? Today, we're going to talk about why taxes, timing, and structure decide your legacy. Now, earning more money doesn't help if you're leaking money you never seen. But regardless of the title, I'm going to stick to the theme, right? What's the theme for this year? 2026 is your year to protect the bag, grow the bag, enjoy the bag, and then pass the bag on. So, welcome back to the Legacy Lab. Y'all know this is not a webinar. I know I teach law, but this is not going to be a lecture. These are weekly Legacy Lab working sessions. In my Legacy Labs, what do? We take small, intentional steps to manage what we already own, our money, our property, and our responsibilities. So if this is your first time, you're right on time because these sessions are designed to stand alone, but they also build. So if you've been with me before, today builds on what you already know because every legacy lab is designed to give you one win that you can actually keep. So all you have to do is what? Be willing to do the work. So y'all go ahead, take a breath, grab something to write with, and let's get to work. I had to set the tone before we can get everything going. So I have to say up front, so there's no confusion about who I am and how I operate. For one, I want everyone to understand that I do not do fear marketing. I'm not here to scare anyone into doing anything. Now, let me say this clearly. And I'm saying this as a probate and estate planning attorney. Everything we talked about so far, your assets, your decisions, and how you protect them, leads to one quiet outcome. Either your money works harder for you or it's going to quietly work against you. Okay. Because for most people, we're going to talk about taxes. Taxes are where the loss happens without you ever even realizing it. But before I get into that, I'm going to set the record straight about taxes. Taxes, they're not a punishment. I, I keep kind of debating on that. I don't think they are. At least they're not supposed to be. And the IRS is not the enemy. Again, at least it's not supposed to be, and it shouldn't be. But I recognize that people don't like taxes and they don't like dealing with the IRS, but this is what they really hate. They really hate about it is the surprises, feeling behind, realizing it's too late that they actually had options and then end up having to write checks that they didn't plan to write. So people, again, don't actually hate taxes or the IRS. They hate realizing money was leaving quietly without their awareness. And of course, without their consent. Okay. And that's the part that matters. Most people think that their taxes go up just because they earn more. That's not what's happening. Taxes go up when decisions aren't made early enough, when timing is ignored, when income goes and continues to grow, but structure stays the same. Now you see your assets increase, but the strategy never catches up. So the frustration people feel every year is not really about taxes. It's about exposure. Now, when I'm talking about exposure, exposure looks like, again, realizing that it's too late, that you actually had options and you just didn't take advantage of those options. And it shows up as receiving a higher tax bill. Again, that wasn't expected. Situations where your deductions, you realize you didn't qualify for some of those deductions that you thought you was going to qualify for, and opportunities that you didn't even position yourself for. And your wealth starts growing a little slower than it should. Again, y'all, that's not punishment. That's unstructured decisions catching up. Now, my work sits at the intersection of money, law, and legacy. As an estate planning and probate attorney, I see what's left behind. Now, you know, I'm a legal educator as well. So, as a legal educator and a money strategist, I see the gap between what people plan to do and what they actually end up doing. But through my company, Moolah Management, I help people connect those dots before money leaks away. Now, this is not about tricks. I'm talking about alignment, because the truth is taxes expose decisions that were never structured. But let me get into my disclaimer before we get into more information about taxes. My disclaimer, just because you guys know I'm an attorney, but that does not mean I'm going to provide you with legal advice. If you want that type of legal service, you have to contact my office. I think my sister, she's right here on the call right now with us. You can contact her and she will get you scheduled for an appointment. Or if you're too far away, you need to find you a local attorney in your area. But be prepared to sign your attorney-client agreement. And more than likely, you're going to have to pay the legal fees. So this information I'm going to give you today is only for educational purposes only. Okay? Now, is that clear? All right, good. So now we can get to work. Who is this session for? This session and all my sessions are for people who are good people, for one, and these good people make good money. Hard workers, right? People who carry responsibilities. We're talking about taking care of their families. They have businesses they're taking care of, and sometimes they're trying to balance both. And people who know deep down it shouldn't feel this expensive just to live the life we're living. This is for people who are starting to notice that money isn't disappearing all loudly. You know what your money doing? It's leaking quietly. How? Through taxes for one, through timing, through your decisions that are never structured. So if you came here today looking for some type of shortcuts, you think I'm gonna give you some type of gimmicks, you're just trying to find someone to blame. Mm-mm. I'm not gonna teach you how to cheat the system. I'm not. That's not me. Okay? You're in the wrong place. And I'm not going to convince you that you got to be perfect, because there's no perfection here either. But it is about organization and structure that support your real life, including how much money you actually get to keep. And if you're willing to take direction, and you're going to have to take ownership, it's not enough just to take direction. You got to take ownership and then move one thing forward, but you got to do it with intention. All right. If that's the case, then I'm going to say you're in the right room. So, where are we in this process? You see my SMART roadmap? We covered this. Today, we're going to be on R again. Yeah, we're going to hang in the R section just a little longer. It's an extension of last week. But Several weeks before, week one, we talked about seize it, figure out what exists, right? Then in week two, we talked about managing it, figuring out where your property lives. Week three, we talked about accelerate it, making decisions, plus adding timing. Then week four, last week, we talked about retain it, keeping progress from leaking out. And today for week five, again, it's retain it again. Because I need you to understand why your taxes and your timing and structure, they actually decide your legacy. I said before, earning more money doesn't help if you're leaking money you never even get to see. Okay? All right, so who am I? Let me tell you, who am I? Just in case you're not sure today. I am who? TaQuita Hogan-Claiborne. I'm also known as your Texas law diva. I'm a probate estate planning attorney, a legal educator, the founder of my own law practice called the Law Office of TMHC, as well as the owner of Moolah Management. I spent over 20 years teaching law and practicing it at the same time. I've also maintained a position as the chief legal officer advising multi-million dollar corporations from California, Singapore, Houston, and other countries and states in between. And I spend a lot of time guiding families through complex legal and money decisions. So if you ain't never met me before, I'm about to tell you all you need to know. I am a first generation net worth millionaire, a legal expert, a wife, I think a loving wife. What you think? A mother of two wonderful, darling children. They are, love them to death. And for the last 20 plus years, I've been in the trenches, y'all. I'm telling you, of both the world of law and of this life. That's why if you hear me say this, I say I practice what I teach because I mean it. I've seen what delays cost families and what structure prevents. Structure, when I say structure, I'm talking about systems that keep your decisions from slipping or falling apart. Okay? Because what we got going on, when you're talking about taxes, we're talking about silent leakage. And no, it's not knocking, it's whispering. It doesn't announce itself. It shows up later as regret. So I'm asking you in this slide, what does it look like? What does silent leakage look like? I'm going to tell you. It looks like your money leaving your life, again, just quietly slipping away. Not because you're irresponsible. No, that's not it. But it's because decisions that you made were never structured. You don't see it slipping away day to day, but over time, it slows everything down. I don't think y'all believe me. So I made sure I came prepared with some receipts. I got some examples to show you. Look at here, because I'm trying to make it practical for you. I know that many high achieving, high income earning professionals, we earn the money. We earn money every year through what raises. A lot of us get bonuses, promotions. And here's what usually happens. People don't start earning more money just to be earning money. They earn the money, but then they realize nothing else really changes. They stay in that same setup. What I'm talking about, they have the same bank accounts. They don't even try high end yielding accounts. They just keep the same structure. No entities in place, no real money strategies, no thought to how the income is actually positioned from year to year, just earning money, getting the bonuses, getting the raises, and moving forward. So every new dollar they earn, you know what happens? It gets treated the same way as the year before, as the year prior to that. And what does the IRS do? Tax it at the highest exposure. Now, let me be clear. The money is good, but that's not success. That's hard work without efficiency. You're working harder, but you keeping less than you should. That's silent leakage. I think I got another example for you because this one here I think is a common example because I'm going to make it real because I'm about to make it personal. Okay. People, I'm going to raise my hand already, pay for business growth, paying for education, giving family support, pay for professional tools. And sometimes they find themselves doing it out of their personal accounts, not because we don't or we're doing something really particularly wrong. No, that's not the case. It's just because no one ever showed them how to structure it differently. So we end up paying full price with after tax dollars. So I'm saying instead of deciding on the front end, we end up paying full price on the back end. What are we saying? You don't know how to take the time to separate what's belongs to the household from what belongs to the business expenses from what belongs to the future. So what ends up happening, y'all? You know what happens? We pay for it with money that's already been taxed for things that could have been set up differently from the start. And that's how money leaks widely. I got one more. I think I got one more. Mhm. This one here. This is where I'm going to show you where estate planning and taxes kind of collide in real life. For example, let's say someone passes away. The family assumes everything is handled, right? We talked about this last week. But no one talked it through how the assets would move. No one talked about when the money will be assessed or how it's going to be distributed from to the heirs, right? We don't hear anybody talking about what it would cost to keep what has been inherited. So they get the house. The house been transferred to them, but no clue about how the property taxes were going to jump up. No clue about how they got to change the insurance. No clue about the maintenance costs that hit them. And now the family is what? Scrambling to figure out how to pay for an asset they thought was a blessing. Or accounts that passed from one person to other to now to the beneficiaries, and then they decided to withdraw, and then it triggered some unexpected bills. And or the deadlines come up that they had no idea about and no way of preparing for them. And the stress doesn't come from greed. I told you where it comes from. It comes from surprise. So instead of inheriting a strategy, they end up inheriting decisions they didn't even help make. Y'all know what that is? That's silent leakage. Now, I want you to notice something before I go on to the next slide. None of this happens because we don't care. It's not that people don't care, I'm telling you, it's not. It happens because no one slowed down long enough to structure their decisions. Mhm. And that's the danger. That's the danger. Because again, we're talking about this silent leakage. Because again, you got to understand, it doesn't feel urgent. That's why it lasts so long. But over time, it determines how fast or slow you can build. This is why tax awareness belongs inside of legacy planning. Again, I told you I'm a probate attorney, estate planning attorney. Like, why you talk about taxes? Why you deal with taxes? Because I recognize tax awareness belongs inside of legacy planning, not a separate conversation, but a part of the same system. Earning more money won't fix the leakage. But I'm going to tell you what will fix it because it can be fixed. You got to put some structure in place. Okay. Now, I got something else I want to tell you about. The taxes, what is this doing really? Each year, your taxes expose to decisions you didn't structure. Mhm. I see it from both sides. again, as a probate attorney, I get to see what's left. And as a legal educator, I get to see what people mean to do or meant to do. Okay. And as someone who had to clean up her own financial house, because I'm not afraid to get personal with you, I know how quiet the damage can be. So let me share something personal with you. Again, I'm trying to be dramatic. I'm just going to be honest. Okay. Y'all good with that? So even while my husband and we've been earning pretty good income, our decisions, they haven't always been structured. They have not. Good. I'm telling you, good money, good income. Most of the time, we've been pretty stable in our careers. And on paper, everything looks solid. Okay. But every year, tax season comes up and it starts feeling a little heavy. And I'm telling you, most of the time it's not shocking about what's going on because it's the same pattern I warn others about. And here we are, or were, we got ourselves repositioned, but here we were in a lot of times living it. And I'm telling you, like most people, we're not doing anything illegal, not being reckless. We're just weren't being intentional. And here's the part that I believe that really matters. We kept telling ourselves every year, my husband and I, we kept telling ourselves, next year we're going to clean this up. We're going to get all our statements together. We're going to get our accounts organized. We're going to get it all together. Next year, we're going to be more strategic. Next year, we're going to look at this differently. And next year always came with the same outcome. We're looking at each other. Where's your receipts? Where's your statements? And what I didn't realize at the time that we weren't losing money loudly because there was no emergencies, there was no penalties, there was no audit letters, but we were losing money quietly. We were paying full price for things that could have been structured differently. Well, why take it out of your personal account when this is a business matter and you could have gotten business deductions? We were making decisions without thinking about timing. We were earning money, but not keeping more of it. And that's when it hit me. When I got educated about it, I'm like, wait a minute. This is not a tax problem. This is a structure problem. And taxes was just the place where I finally felt it. Let me tell you, you get a tax bill. I promise you, you'll feel it too. And as an attorney, I understood the law. And as a legal educator, I understood systems. But personally, I hadn't connected money decisions, legal structure, and tax awareness into one conversation. And that separation was costing us every single year. When we finally slowed down and got intentional. Now, when I talk about aggressive, we didn't have to rush and get aggressive about it. We wasn't even clever about it. We got intentional. That's when things changed. Again, it wasn't because we suddenly started earning money. We were making the money. We've been making money for years. It wasn't about the money, but because we stopped letting money leak in places we never looked. Like using again that personal money for business expenses and calling it, oh, this is the cost of doing life. Mm-mm. You guys, you need to understand that's why I teach this. Not to turn anyone into a tax expert, but to help people stop unknowingly working against themselves. So if this session is making you think, I see it, Miss Claiborne. I see it, TaQuita. I see it, Attorney Claiborne. I felt that. I've been meaning to look at that too. It's not judgment zone. I'm not here to judge you. That's awareness. And awareness is where better decisions start. Okay. Okay. Y'all heard me talk a lot. So I got to give you something to do. Y'all ready? Oh my goodness. I said what? Y'all ready? You already know if you've been with me before. If you hear that word ready, I'm looking for you to do what? Oh, it's up. Oh my goodness, it's already in the chat. Put ready in the chat. It's already in the chat. Okay, okay, we ready. Y'all ready? So let me tell you what I need you to do because I got some people ready today. Think about the last tax season. Think about it. Think about your last tax season. I'm gonna ask you this. What surprised you the most? Was it what you owed? Mm, what you couldn't deduct? Mm, or what you didn't plan for? Think about it. That's what I'm asking you to do. Just think about it. What surprised you the most? What you owed, what you couldn't deduct, or what you didn't plan for? We're not fixing it today. Mm-mm. Again, just awareness. I just want you to think about it. Okay? Think about it. Now, let me clear something up while I got you thinking. Y'all thinking about it? Think about it. Think about it. I want to clear this up. Again, we're talking about smart, intelligent, high achieving, educated people. Smart people don't overpay on taxes because they're careless. No, that's not why we're doing that. Mm-mm. You overpay because most of us, we busy. Let's go on and tell the truth about it. We are busy people. We all out here busy earning money, busy taking care of everyone else, busy again, making the money, getting the clients, getting the business without stopping to structure it. And taxes become something you deal with after the fact. When? When it's time to file, at the deadline, when a number is already set. I want to say it plainly. Filing your taxes is not the same as planning your taxes. When you're filing, you know what you're doing? You're reporting what you already allowed to happen. The decisions are already locked in. And once you're at that point, you're no longer choosing, you're reacting. Most opportunities to reduce those taxes, they happen before anything shows up on that tax return. They happen before you earn the income, before you spend the money, before you sell or buy an asset, before December the 31st. Because once the year is over, the window has closed. So people don't lose money because they don't, or actually they forget to file. They lose money because the right decisions weren't made early enough. So we don't miss paying our taxes. We just missing out on options because taxes don't punish effort. They expose decisions that were never structured. Y'all see that? This is why tax awareness belongs where I say inside of legacy planning, because taxes aren't separate from your money. They're the result of how money is handled over time. So let me connect it to the SMART legacy plan. That SMART legacy process exists for this main reason. Why? To help you with your money decisions, legal structure, tax awareness. They have to talk to each other. If one is missing, the system starts leaking, right? Okay, that's enough stuff right now. I got to put you to work again. I told you this is a working lab, all right? I need you to do something. I need you to think about it or write it down. Here we go. Think about it or write it down. Look at my slide. If you could legally make more of what you already earn, what would that change for you? Think about it. Take a minute. Look at what I'm asking you. If you could legally keep more of what you already earned, what would that change for you? I'm talking about what have you earned over the last year? What about the last 10 years? Your lifetime? What over your lifetime? If you could keep it, I don't want answers in the chat, but if you got your notebook, write your answer down so you can remember it. Write it down over the next year, over the next 10 years, over the lifetime. Put a date on it. I would say timestamp it. Write it down. Put the date on there. Timestamp it. What time is it right now? Timestamp it. And plan to go back and revisit it next year. I want you to see if you implemented a strategy to legally keep more of what you earned by next year. Okay? All right. Because we keep talking about this silent leakage. I'm going to show you something. Not to impress you. I'm not here to try to convince you of anything, but I'm going to make a point. There's no tricks about it. This is about gaming the system. I'm not going to do that. I'm here to keep my license. And I'm not going to make you, again, any type of promises. But what I am showing you, what you're looking at here in this slide, is someone doing what most people do. This someone happened to be in my moolah management program. They're like us. They worked all year. They earned their money. Then they filed their taxes, right? They filed their tax return. And then they saw the number. Look at that number at the top. Look at the top of the slide. Look at that number. It's in red. They saw that number the before. It says federal balance due in red. Again, this is not about doing something wrong. It's about realizing too late that decisions affecting taxes happen before filing. That moment wasn't punishment. It was time catching up. And when structure and timing were corrected legally for them, their money stopped leaking. Now look at the next number below. Y'all see this number here? After number? You see my number? Y'all see that? You see it? Afterwards. After we made some adjustments and applied the proper deductions, they saw that number too. They went from what? This to return of what? Of that? They saw the number, right? Now look, here's another example. You see it? That's it. These numbers may be different for everyone, but the pattern is the same. When decisions are delayed, people pay full price with after-tax dollars. When decisions are made on time, legally, money behaves differently. It stops leaking. Okay? Now, let's see. What this proves. I'm going to tell you what it proves. Tax issues aren't income problems. They're timing and structure problems. That's why taxes belong inside of legacy planning, not outside of it. Okay. Now, I said a lot about taxes. So I said I need to bring in another disclaimer in here. Okay. Because I'm going to say this. I'm not a tax expert. I'm not giving tax advice in this session. I'm just showing you what happens when decisions are made or delayed. Y'all get that? Don't say Attorney Claiborne said them tax advice. No, we're not doing that. There's my legal compliance to let you know that I am not a tax advisor. Okay, now let me slow down a second and kind of cover this slide. Because this is where people get a little confused. I want to kind of clear it up because I got to get back to let you make the connection between taxes and estate planning. Estate planning and what I call my SMART plan is not just about putting together documents, just documents telling you, here's some documents, grab these documents, put them in your drawer, save this on your computer. It's about making sure your decisions don't fall apart when life happens, because life's going to keep on happening. You just got to keep up with it. You hear me? So when your income, your taxes, and your assets and your authority, because you're going to take active, proactive role in taking responsibility to how we align this up, are all aligned, you stop just reacting. You stop allowing your money to just leak out. You stop paying for decisions you meant to make. But what? Never did. So this kind of planning doesn't eliminate responsibility. I'm just stepping in to help you organize it. Okay. And that's why taxes show up here, not as a separate topic in the SMART plan, but as a consequence of how well or how poorly decisions are structured. So when planning is fragmented, taxes get expensive. When planning is aligned, taxes behave differently. It's just facts. No way around it. Okay, now let me get you to my SMART legacy plan framework. Just in case you forgot it. Now, this is for the newbies because we're going to lock it in, this overall theme. Y'all ready? Ooh, I said it. You ready? I'm looking. Oh, see, I know you've been with me before because ready is already in this chat. Ready in the chat. Ready in the chat. Now protect the bag so it doesn't leak. Grow that bag so your work actually multiplies. And I want you to enjoy the bag. Y'all know I stay there for a minute. Please enjoy the bag because you didn't build whatever you building in your life. You got one life to live, one life to build. To do all that and allow it to be wasted away. We work too hard just to live a life of suffering. And then when time comes, pass that bag along. But you're going to do it with intention. You're going to be proactive and not reactive. Because to me, what did I tell y'all? That's legacy. Not just any type of legacy. This is the type of legacy that's all about living well, enjoying what you build, and not rushing to transfer it. My goodness, my goodness. I'm telling you, I desire to live well. I don't know about y'all. I desire to live well. Do you? Come on, y'all with me? Anybody else desire to live well? I hope so. Yeah, I don't want to be out here by myself, but I'm just saying, I'm going to do what's required to live a good life. Okay? All right, y'all. Good to see you with me. Now look at this here, because we're making some transitions. I want you to take a minute. Said a lot today. I had you to do a lot of thinking. It's time to pause and reflect. Notice how small today's steps were. We had a few steps to take, right? Notice how much those few steps I asked you to take actually revealed. If you understand how I operate, that's it. That's work that's actually happens. That's it. It's really that simple. Because what we're not doing today, y'all, don't have time, at least not yet. We're not filing those taxes. Again, not today. We're going to do that soon. We're not creating entities for you today. We're not even trying to fix everything today. We're not. All I'm asking you to do is identify where the money might be quietly slipping away. So, how are we going to move forward? Choose just one next step. Let me be very clear about what I'm offering you right now. I'm not opening up a challenge. I'm not enrolling anybody into my cohort. What I'm doing is just identifying the people who are serious about building this the right way. Now, in a few weeks, I will be opening up my Secure the Bag 5-day challenge. But before that happens, I'm going to go ahead and create a priority list. Now, when I say priority, I'm not talking about pressuring anybody. Again, this is not pressure. It's just information. It's having first access to the information. So if you're not starting from scratch, then you'll be on the list when those doors open and we'll be able to notify you. Okay. So if you know you don't want to just keep circling the same decisions this year and next year, I would say you're the one of the ones who the priority list is designed for. Okay. So for today, the only next step, again, no, there's no enrollment. It's not happening right now. This is not a pressure call. No pressure decisions to be made today. So your only next step for today is, again, awareness plus readiness. Some of you during this lesson, realize for the first time how your taxes fit right inside of your protection. And I know there's some of you others that probably saying, I'm starting to see where my money has been quietly leaking away. So the next step is deciding that you don't want to keep discovering this by accident. So before we get into all of this, I'm going to pause and explain to you my Legacy Luxe Smart Plan. Okay. What's the blueprint? What are we following here? Everything we talked about the last 5 weeks or so fits inside this one system. It's not a checklist. It's not papers put inside of a binder. It's a decision framework. When decisions happen in the right order, I'm telling you, your money behaves differently. That's it. No letters, no steps, no lecture. It's just that you need to understand that most people try to optimize taxes before they protect anything. You got to protect, grow, enjoy, then pass it on. And so you see, again, taxes fit into that category. You can't optimize them if you haven't figured out how to protect what you have. That's backwards. So that's why week one, what do? We identify what you own. Week two, we organize the information. Week three, we made decisions while the options existed. Then week four, last week, was all about making sure none of that unravels. Now, for this week, for week five, I told you how taxes reward structure that already exists. Again, that's why the order matters. Okay. Now, coming close to an end, but before I do, I got a little quiz for y'all. You want to take the little quiz? The quiz is not about curiosity. It's actually like an orientation. Why do I say that? Why I say orientation? Why I choose that word? It helps you to see where your decisions are already costing you time and money. Okay. If you want to see that, then this quiz is going to be for you. If you don't, then that's okay. But at least I'm going to drop the link in the chat. So give me a minute to grab it from over here off my document. Okay, got the link to the quiz. It's called the Legacy Readiness Quiz. Y'all should see the link in the chat. And also going to give you the scorecard. Once you take the quiz, you'll have access to the scorecard. Okay. Only take about 2 minutes. Again, it's going to tell you again things like what's exposed in your estate. It can give you some ideas of how to get it organized and even provide you some next steps. Okay. That's simple, right? A little something to help give you direction. Really simple. About 2 minutes. That's all it takes. Hmm. Recognize what you own. You know, retention is where people either decide to move forward or they slide back. Retention is where people either move forward or they slide back. So when I say retention, I'm talking about holding on to money emotionally. No, not really. I'm not really talking about just the money emotionally. I'm talking about keeping the progress you already made from slipping away. So I dropped the link to the quiz. Some of you will decide to take it and some will not. By now, after like 5 weeks, in comparison, I know some of you know what you own. We covered that in week one. And I know you probably figured out what you wish to do and what you wish not to do. In week five I presented something a little different. But I'm going to ask you, do you understand how what you own is treated legally and financially when decisions aren't made? Do you? 'Cause if you won't take a 2-minute assessment, you're probably not ready to figure all that out either. But that's okay. Because what we're doing here is building generational wealth builders who are ready to become legacy architects. I know I said that we're ready. I took a peek at the chat because I did say ready, but that's okay. That's up. There you go. Now listen, y'all, because I'm about to get out of here. Legacy is built while you're living. I see the chat. Y'all ready, ready, ready? I saw you. Legacy is built while you're living. Is it just what gets passed on? It's not. It's something built through everyday decisions. It's how expensive your life is while you're living. And taxes are one of the ways life charges you for indecision. Okay? So we already made the right call here today. Why? You showed up. You showed up today. I'm not open to challenge yet. I told you that. But I am creating a priority list for people who don't want to keep discovering problems later. So, what we're going to do, the list gives you first access when the challenge opens. If that sounds like you, I got a link for you. Let me grab the link, grabbing the link to the challenge. It's a challenge priority list. I got the link for you. The challenge priority list. Y'all got it? There's the link. It's in the chat because that's the only step right now. The Secure the Bag challenge priority list is the only step, but eventually we're going to have the Secure the Bag challenge open. I'll let you know about that in advance because once we get into the challenge, that's where we're going to take everything we've been learning for all these weeks, what you saw today and what you saw in the past, over the past few weeks, and build your structure. Okay. Now, for those of you already know later on, and you've been wondering, I know you talked about the challenge, but I thought there was going to be something else after the challenge. Yes. Later on, for deeper support, yes, 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 I will have a 90-day Legacy Luxe cohort, but that comes after the challenge. You can't get access to it in advance. Most people are going to have to go through the challenge just to even enroll into my cohort because I'm not going to help you skip the steps. Okay? Y'all hear me? Because today is all about taking the right simple steps. And what are we going to do? And what are we going to do right now? Okay, I got to get out of here. Got to get out of here. Get out of here. Got to go. So, in closing, let me end like this. I'm going to always end with saying to you, thank you. Thank you for being here and doing the work. You did the work. So, before we close, I do want you to notice something. The work that you did, it wasn't complicated, right? But it was intentional. I want you to really understand that is how real progress is made, not by rushing through stuff. No, we're not doing that. We're not skipping steps, but by staying in order. So if today helped you see what needs attention, y'all, I'm telling you, that was the whole point. You don't have to decide everything today. You just have to stay intentional. You just have to keep moving. You got to keep moving forward. And I'm going to say it again. I'm going to keep telling you, thank you. Thank you for showing up and you doing the work. Okay? Now, when you leave from here, be sure to take a minute and pause and reflect and then get into action. Because I'm going to ask you, if you're serious, you're going to at least take my quiz, right? If you're ready, you're going to join the challenge priority list. And everything else is going to come afterwards. It's going to be in that order. So I'm going to close out. And before I close out, I'm going to go over that overall theme again. What is my theme? Protect the bag. Then what we're going to do? Grow the bag. And then we're going to make sure we're going to do what? Enjoy that bag, y'all. And then decide to pass it on when time allows. So if you got some questions for me or even some comments, I added a section in the registration form for you to add your question. I check it every time beforehand so I can answer those questions live. But if you fail to do that and you still have questions, you can ask your questions in my school community. It's the Secure the Bag School. When I say school, it's SKOOL. I have a link for that. Let me go ahead and grab that just in case. I think we posted at the beginning, but I'm going to post it again for you here. Okay, there's the link to the chat for the school community. The community is Secure the Bag. You can drop your questions and comments there. All right. All right, guys, that's it. That's all I have for today. Thank you for your attention as always. And until next time, you know where y'all see me where? Via Zoom, right here. Thank you. Wonderful. Thank you guys. I see you in the chat. Thank you as well. Y'all have a great day. Bye-bye.